Hello, hello, and welcome to the newest episode of Borderline Podcast Disorder. How's things? How are you guys? You good? Well, people, how are you people? Um, I hope if you're listening to this on the first day that's come out, which is Monday, the 21st of April. I hope you're enjoying the Easter Monday. Don't know what's the right way to say it, and for anyone celebrating or observing, I hope you're having a good time. Yeah, I hope you're having the time of your life, really. Um, I'm good. It's been a busy week last week, and then I managed somehow to have the weekend off, day job as well as there is a break from uni, day job, gigs. I've been gigging on Friday night, which was brilliant. It was a very good night, and I'm back in tonight, so not off for long, but definitely enjoyed as I'm recording this. It's actually Sunday, it's Easter Day, but as I'm recording this, what was I going to say? Yeah, basically, I've been resting up on Saturday and it's been quite cool. Um, Me and my partner went out, met some friends in a place in like the forest. It's like an oyster shack. And it was pretty cool. It was really nice. I really enjoyed being out. It was a good day, and I managed to go to the gym as well. After I think the pain in my side, I think I pulled like a muscle. That's I've recovered from that, or like I'm recovering well. I'd say I barely feel any pain now, and so yeah, it was good to then go to the gym in the evening ish, and then just sat at home. We finished watching Yellowstone. Pretty good. Pretty. I didn't watch all of it because I fell asleep a lot throughout binging it with my partner. But the ending was brilliant. And then now it's Sunday, and I'm looking forward to again just relaxing. There are no plans at all for today. I thought we would or we were meant to go and see some friends, but that's been cancelled. So I'm just gonna enjoy the day off with my partner and the kitties, and I think we might go for a walk, but the weather doesn't look as nice as it was yesterday. And I'm excited for the week ahead. Oh, by the way, the preview last week was amazing. We managed to fill up the entire room. There was no space left. So thank you to everyone for coming. Anyone who wanted to come, it's a good thing you didn't come, to be honest, because it was packed. But I'd love to see you at the next one. Now I'm in the plans. I'm working with the same comedians, so with like Mike, Karina, and Nick, to bring progress back at a later date for another run. But then I'm also working into splitting the bill with actually some different comics. Stay tuned because some more shows are gonna come up, and I'm super excited about it. Um, but yeah, no, the Wednesday show went great. I'm still waiting to see the video. I feel like some things worked, some things didn't, but overall, the feedback was that the people had fun, which is great, and I also felt pretty good. I was a bit sad. I feel like I could have done better, but I think there is always room for better. But yeah, good time. And what else? Well, again, very tiring few weeks. Been running around a lot between the new day job and uni, which although now I'm on a break, which is nice, and then gigging. Um, but I've managed to also rest up in the last few days, and I feel quite energized and quite excited about the future. I want to. There are loads of things that I'm planning to do and I want to do, and I'm really hoping that we will get to do it soon. And yeah, basically for everyone listening, who's I've been teasing you for a while that I've had a fairly interesting, you know, time in the last year or so working for my old company. The time is up, and I can speak about it. And I'm going to um, write up some stuff and share the story. Um, Hopefully, in a couple of weeks. I'm just piecing everything together. Uh, and it feels good. It feels quite liberating. I started looking into it and writing last week, and it just I feel better and I feel good, and I feel like it's time to speak up, guys, people. Sorry, it's time to speak up, people. Anyway, look, now that's enough for me. You're up for a great episode with Matt. I think he's got one of my favorite jokes. If I'm being perhaps maybe I'm being biased because I got to know him and I like him as a person. But yeah, he's got even before I knew him or like before I spoke with him more. I loved his joke. I'm not going to tell you which one it is. You have to go and check out his shows. He's a great comic. And look, the interview, the conversation was pretty good, and I had such a nice time having him over. So I'll let you enjoy the episode, and I'll catch you near the end. Okay. Okay. So Matt, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm very good. Thank you for coming down to do this.
Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be here.
I heard because we were talking before I started recording that you had a busy day already.
Yes, yeah.
What are you up to?
So I went to Kew Gardens, which is it was like part of the West London Queer Project, which is a great sort of community based group for West London queers. The clues in the name, but yeah, no, it was a walk around Kew Gardens. Which was nice. It was really lovely. But I have done, I think, 23,000 steps today. So I'm exhausted. So Levy's very kindly made me a cup of tea and it's perking me up a little bit. You'll probably tell throughout the podcast when that kicks in. I'll just be like, all of a sudden, buzzing. But
sorry, you were talking about the Red Bulls earlier as well, and I was like,
yeah.
Do you like get over I guess what's it called, like overstimulated by like caffeine or?
No, no, not really. It's just like I get to a point, if I'm not a big one for energy drinks anymore. I'm looking after my health a little bit nowadays. It doesn't sound like it, saying I've drunk Red Bull, but when I need it, I'm like, okay, let's have a little pick me up. And today I felt like I needed it because otherwise I'm going to be falling asleep doing this podcast, and your listeners probably will be doing the same. So I don't want that to happen. I want to be as entertaining as I can try to be.
I mean, I don't think you would. Either way, I'd love. If anything, I remember at times, at the very beginning, even before I started doing this podcast, people were telling me that, or some people were telling me that I have this like soothing voice, and I should actually do like a podcast for people to go to sleep to. And I wouldn't be surprised if people use this for that either. But I feel like we're about to have a very good conversation. We got all these questions, and we're gonna find out about like the JFK files as well. So stay tuned.
I haven't got them with me. Sorry.
Oh,
no, I didn't bring them. You should have said if you wanted me to bring the JFK files. I mean,
no, well, that's why I was just like, hey, don't fall asleep listening to this. But then, actually, another question I have is so what's it called? Is the queer gardens or the Kew Gardens? You said?
Not queer gardens. That's somewhere completely different. No. So Kew Gardens is well, I mean, I should know all about it. I spent a few hours there this morning. So yeah, it's the Royal Botanical Gardens at Kew in West London.
Right. Okay.
It is I think the biggest collection of plants in the world.
Hey.
As in different types and things like that. So yeah, it's really good. It's a good little day out. I mean, it's good. It's just down the road from me. I've been went once last year for the first ever time. Oh God! So like, there's greenhouses, like there's like, or glass houses. I
Yes,
think they
yes,
call them.
yes.
So there's these huge glass houses. Last year I went on the hottest day of the year,
Oh my god!
and I got there at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and they were like, right, go to the glass houses first because you will not want to go later. I mean, even today, I mean, this is we're recording this in at the end of March, and even today, it was very humid in there. So yeah, but it's good fun, and I would recommend. Yeah,
interesting. And because then you were talking about what was the reason behind like going today?
Because it's just an event that was run by the West London Queer Project, which is like, I guess it's a community based group. Obviously, it's not just for queer people. It's for anyone, as long as you're anyone apart from homophobes. I think that's probably.
I don't know if they would be drawn by.
I mean, yeah, I think they might be excluded, but I don't know. Maybe they won't be. But yeah, no, it's a really good thing. They do different events. They do events all the time. There's like weekly events. I've done. Like every Tuesday they do yoga.
No way.
Started doing yoga with them. And yeah, I mean, there's like Friday social drinks and things like that. It's just a good thing because obviously in London, it's a city of 7 million people or something like that. But sometimes it can be the loneliest place on earth, So I just sort of did that to meet other people. I've been in West London for 2 years now. Before that I was like southwest London. But yeah, no, so I moved to an area, I didn't really know anyone, and I've built up some friends through there.
So how long you been in? Because you were talking about like living in West London for a couple of years, and then southwest London. So you're not from London?
No, I'm not from London. I'm from originally like Kent, Surrey, Sussex border. So southeast England.
Southeast. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, so I've lived in. So someone asked me this the other day at a gig. They were like, "Oh, how long have you been in London for?" And I was thinking, "Oh, it must be like 10 years." It feels like 10 years, but it's actually I've worked it out to be about 5.5.
No way.
Yeah,
and it feels. Like
it does. I just feel like I've been here forever.
Yeah.
But like maybe I guess I had another life.
So that must have been like what, just before the lockdown?
Yeah. So August. I think I moved in August 2019. Yeah, a lot happened in 2019. I started comedy in January 2019. Really? Yeah. Which is obviously 2019 is the worst year to start anything ever, obviously, because I don't know if you've heard about a little thing called the lockdown that happened.
And you're making masks, unless it's a good business.
Well, yeah, I mean, we could get into that, but yeah, unless you had the government contract for masks, but this is not a political podcast.
Or you're helping with making the I was going to say, not the virus, Jesus. Helping with the cure for the...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Unless you work in pharmaceuticals as well.
That's it, pharmaceuticals.
But yeah, for starting comedy, it wasn't the best year. I mean, obviously it sort of all came to a pause in, what was it, March? Was it March 2020?
Yeah, in England. Yes. It was in March. Yeah.
Of course, you wasn't in England.
No, I was in England. I was in Manchester.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just that I started comedy in 2021.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah, October 2021. And that's why but I do remember that it was like, because I remember in February, I remember not having a date on Valentine's Day, and that's how. And then I remember like I started seeing someone, and then I was like, "Oh, this is great. Life is going well." And then,
of course,
that's it.
Yeah, you need to stop. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they did for me with comedy. They're like, no, you need to stop. You need to stop doing. The world was like, stop doing that, Matt. And then,
Like, no,
no,
leave
exactly.
me alone.
Yeah, exactly. And then
Which happened.
so I did. Yeah, I wasn't going to do the Zoom gigs. I couldn't think. I see. I'm a little bit better now because I do it a little bit at work, but I was really anxious about like Zoom gigs
Yeah.
and doing, seeing myself on the screen and stuff like that. Even like Zoom quizzes, as like even though they're all my friends and stuff like
Oh,
that.
right, right,
like,
right.
This is so weird, and I
Yeah.
feel a little bit. Yeah, I feel really weird about this. So I wasn't going to do Zoom gigs, and from what I've
Fair.
heard, they were awful anyway.
I had to do my. So you think you're funny?
Yeah,
You know, I had to do it via Zoom, and it was one of the weirdest things I've ever done.
yeah, that's
'Cause-
a real shame. That
Yeah,
you
because
do
they
it
were
on
like,
Zoom.
"Oh, just do your material and then just pretend that people are laughing." I was like, "If that's the case, I'll be like, hi, my name is Levi," and then I just shut up for 5 minutes because I believe everyone hysterical.
I mean, that's my normal approach to comedy anyway.
Okay.
When I do my material and pretend everyone's laughing. That's the delusion that you have to have. Yeah,
So yeah, that was an experience.
yeah, that's a
So-
real weird one. Yeah.
Because then you what? So then you were. Did you live in Kent before this?
Well, like
Before London?
Sussex. Yeah, I was living
Sorry,
in Sussex.
is that the same? No.
Yeah, no, I lived right on the border. You could drive 10 minutes down the road that way and be in Kent. 10 minutes down the road that way, be in Sussex.
And that's where you're from originally.
Yeah, so right in that sort of but yeah, so I did when I started comedy, I was living down there.
How did you start?
Well, I did a course. I did the angel
No way.
course, yeah, and it was the reason I did the course is because I got drunk one night and signed up to it. You know, like those Facebook or Instagram ads
Oh my
came
God,
up,
yeah.
and I was just like, I was like, I always wanted to do it, but it just took a little bit of like coming in from a night out and being like, and it just flashes up, and I was like, that looks good. And I had a bit of money at the time or whatever, and paid whatever it was. 150 £200 or whatever, and I was just like, I'm doing. And then I was like, I signed up for it, now I've got to do it. And I turn up, and it was like 5 weeks every Saturday or something like that. And to begin with, we did improv, and I've never done any acting before. I was like, I can do a little bit of sense of like. Got a bit of a sense of humor. I've always been told I can do this. That's fine. I can make funny comments, but pretending I'm a tree or whatever, I can't. Yeah, I was just like standing there going, "This is not for me. Why have I signed up for this?" And then the second sort of half of the session, they were like, "Right, okay, get up on stage and just like tell a story. It doesn't have to be funny." And of course, like I was like, it needs to be funny. I need to think of something funny, like just a 1 minute, 2 minute story. And I did that, and people laughed, and I was just like, okay, yeah, no, this is good. This is what I'm going to come back to this course. Obviously, I paid the money as well, so I will be coming back. But since then as well, I've done quite a bit of like improv courses, not like improv performing.
Interesting.
So yeah, I do love a bit of improv, but there was just like that sort of culture shock to begin with, of being like, I turned up to a stand-up course and we're doing improv, and I'm just like, I'd never done this before in my life. So yeah.
But then you did the course,
Yeah,
and you signed up when you were drunk, which is funny in itself. I think, but again, I feel like people, I don't know, like I sign up for like, I don't know, like a subscription of something, or like I order a takeaway. I've never signed up for anything.
Yeah, that is the most
occasional.
Yeah, it is quite extreme, to be fair. Yeah, I mean, I still get takeaways when I'm drunk. That's the worst thing. But yeah, I'm like, I'll try and be healthy, and then I have a few beers, and I'm like, do you know what I need? I need a McDonald's or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah. I need a kebab.
yeah.
That's it. Otherwise, it's but it's quite, because I'm only thinking like, what's the next thing? Like you get drunk one day and then you're doing like a sign up for like a master's degree, or you'll get like PhD and
Yeah, exactly. Next time I see you, I'll be like, sorry, Levy, I'm too busy. I'm doing, I've got this master's degree that I signed up to
Yeah.
when I was drunk. Oh, it's a nightmare. Yeah,
Imagine
exactly.
getting the letter in post where it's like, congratulations, like your student finance has been approved.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Oh God. Oh yeah. No.
But
well, yeah. Sorry, go on.
no, please continue. Because sorry.
No, I was joking. No, it's fine. Go on, please.
No, because I was just going to ask you then, because you said you considered it before. When did you? I guess again, when did you first consider that you were like, oh, I want to try stand up comedy?
Well, do you know what? I was a very shy child. Like I was very, yeah, I was really, yeah, really shy. I was very timid. Um, and, but even from like primary school, my head teacher would always say like, oh, he's got a really good sense of humor. And I think from when, in like UK schools, I think at like year 9 you choose your options, and I was like looking at the options of what I wanted to do, the GCSEs I wanted to go on to, and I was in my mind I was like, I want to be a comedian.
No way.
And yeah, obviously, I mean, I'm 39 years old, so that was a long time ago.
That's not that long. Come on.
But so yeah, I think that's when the sort of inkling of doing that happened. But like I say, I was very shy, and it was never to be really until I had to do a best man speech for
Okay.
my best friend who I'd known since we were like 7 or 8 years old. So this is like you only get
That's
one.
so cute.
You only get one shot at this,
Yeah.
right? Even if no, heaven forbid he remarries, which he hasn't done, which is great. It still won't be the same. This is like this has to be a good. This has to be a good show. This has to be good. So I wrote this best man speech. And it went well. I'm really pleased with it. I really sort of smashed it.
Did you learn it, or did you like memorize it, or did you read it?
I memorized it a lot, but I had the bit of paper there, so which you can kind of get away with on a best man speech.
No, I'm just curious.
Okay,
I'm not judging. I'm just generally just.
Oh, you do judge me, yeah. But yeah, so I did that. It went really well. It's I'm not really one for blowing my own trumpet, but I'm proud of that, and that really, yeah. And then one of the like uncles of the bride came up to me afterwards and was like, have you ever thought of doing stand-up comedy? And I was like, who, me?
No way.
And yeah, no, I mean, he was just asking. It's not like he was an agent or anything like that, unfortunately. But yeah, and then it was about 2-3 years later. I got drunk and signed up to the Angel Comedy course. Yeah, exactly.
And then when you started stand up, were you, I don't know, like, did you change a lot in regards to like what you do on stage, or are you pretty much the same person that you were when you, or like are you writing the same way? Like, say if you like you picture yourself, oh, I'm gonna be a comedian and I'm gonna be like this comedian. Right. Are you like that, or has it changed a lot?
I guess, yeah, no, I don't think it has changed a lot. I think I'm better, hopefully. That's
obviously that goes without saying.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if I was getting worse after 6 years, can you imagine? I mean, yeah,
this is not working.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I changed a lot. Yeah, no, well, it was a point in my life when there was a lot of change going on as well. So I'd
while you were doing comedy, or was it before?
Just before. I mean, like I'd come out as bisexual, and then and then in the
no way, just before?
No, well, when did I come out? 8-9 years ago.
No
So yeah, a
way.
few years before. Before it. So that well, sorry, I'm doing maths now. So 2 or 3 years before. Yeah. So I had come out, and I come out as bisexual, and then after a while, I was just like, you know what, I haven't been with a woman for a long time, so I guess I'm gay now. So yeah, no. So
No way.
and you know, I've fallen in love with a guy, and that's the reason for me coming out. And then I was dumped a few times.
Sorry about that.
So yeah, no. So yeah, over a 5-year relationship, we broke up like 3 times. So yeah, and I mean that was during, you know, pre starting comedy and during doing comedy as well. But then I've got material out of it. So, you know, Every Cloud, and also I'm out of what I look back on now as being a toxic relationship. So, yeah.
But I mean, the thing is, because I had no idea you came out like at what? Because that would been like at what, around 30 or like late 20s.
30, 31.
Okay,
So I
so
was quite a late bloomer, yeah.
and that's why I was like kind of like not shocked, but like I was like, oh my god, wow, that's again, I just didn't expect that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And the other thing was because I was gonna say you have, I think, my favorite like coming out story joke. I mean, obviously it's a joke. I don't and I'm not gonna say it here, but
Right.
I love, because I think I told you before where I was like, it makes me laugh so much,
Oh,
and I
thank
even
you.
think about it, and every time I speak to people about you, for example, I'm like, oh, Matt, who does that bit.
Oh, that's really nice. Yeah.
Because I love it. I think it's like, again, I'm so like dying to say I'm just gonna cover the mic. It's like, is this gay? I love it so much.
Okay. It's so, this is the thing about doing like material, I guess. But doing like comedy, because people you go, oh, I don't think that joke's really sort of like working as well as it should be. And then someone goes, I really love that joke, and you go, okay, maybe I'll keep it. Maybe I'll keep it in.
Because I think throughout like the period now. I'm sorry to take it. We're coming back to the story because I want to know more. But I was going to say that I feel like I heard so many types of jokes of like, oh, this is like my story of like coming out and again turn into a joke. And I'm like, okay, perhaps I've heard this before. Or it sounds familiar or whatever. But then with yours, it's just like, this is great because again, I did not expect this, and also everything that you do, the way you tell it, and the way you like condone yourself on stage and stuff like this, like it just works out so well.
No, thank you very much. I'm blushing now. I just came here to be praised. I'm going to go now. Bye. No, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. I'm not very good at taking compliments, but thank you. I appreciate that.
That's okay. But yeah, now let's go back. So you're so you came out again quite late. So it was actually the first. I'm really sorry, by the way, if it's like but yeah, please, you don't have to answer. Sorry, but was that the actual like the first time you told someone? Like is it like the official come out, or was it like did you actually come out to someone beforehand where you're like I'm generally curious. Like, was that the first time you expressed?
Oh no, yeah, that was the first time. So really, I mean, really, because like to come out to someone I knew. So I mean, the story goes is that I'd always had that in the back of my mind. I thought it was just a phase. Well, like when you're a teenager or in your sort of early 20s or whatever, you sometimes have those phases or whatever, I guess. And I was told this, and I was like, oh, it's just a phase.
No way.
And then I was like, it's kind of a fantasy now. And then I acted on it. I changed my Tinder settings to looking for a guy.
Right.
Met up with a guy. It was a little bit too much for me, so I ran away. And then I don't know, 6 months or so later, changed my Tinder settings back, and then proceeded to like I met up with a guy who turned out to be my ex-boyfriend that I had a relationship with for 5 years. And you know, but over the time I fell in love with him.
Yeah.
So, and I was just like, okay, well, if you're falling in love with men, you're definitely gay. Like,
That
you're at
really showed
least
the line.
bisexual. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, then I had to come out, and I didn't want, you know, I didn't want to sort of keep secrets anymore. So I was like, right, okay, I'm gonna need to, and I didn't want rumors to go around or whatever, or people that I cared about finding out, like my friends and things
Yeah.
like that, finding out sort of through the grapevine. So it was like, right, okay, I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna tell my family first, and then you know, very quickly, you know, in a week, try and get around and see as many friends as I can.
No way.
And it was a big deal for me. Like it was
Yeah, of
it
course.
was a big deal. But as with, I mean, everyone has a different coming out experience, but I think people generally find it's a big deal in your head. But actually, if people are accepting, they're like, yeah, we don't care. It's absolutely
Yeah.
fine. Like, I mean, I didn't even think about this at the time, but one of my friends was was diagnosed with testicular cancer at the time.
Oh God.
And yeah, admittedly, I was probably, you know, in my own head about my own sexuality and my own things going on. But obviously, our whole friendship group was a little bit like shocked by that, and it was all a bit of a worry. So one of my friends, when I phoned him up and said, "Oh, can I come round? I want to talk to you about something." They thought that there was something, I'm going to be ill or something like that. They were like, "Oh, thank God for that!" Like, I was just like, "Yeah, I'm bisexual." And they're like, "Oh, thank God!" Oh no,
Like this is probably the best news I've heard.
yeah, exactly. They were like, "Oh, I thought you were going to say that you're ill or whatever."
Yeah,
And I was just like, "Oh yeah, didn't think about that. Too much in my own head at the time." Yeah, so
But it makes, I mean, again, like it makes so much sense because I feel like as an, uh, like yeah, like the things that can go like in someone's mind and the perception or like what the reaction or anything like this, it's yeah, I think it's so natural, you know.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I thought that I genuinely thought that I would lose my friends.
No
I
way.
genuinely because look, I grew up in like a little conservative
Interesting.
village. And I grew up in a lot of like 90s lad culture.
Right.
We were all lads. We went down the pub,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
watch football,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. We're like,
Right.
which I still like to do. You know, but we didn't, that we, there was a lot of banter and things like that, which, you know, obviously it's different times now, but there was like pub banter and things, and it's, you know, and I was just like, oh God, they, you know, from what they're saying, they hate gay people, sort of thing.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. So, but you know, that's, I mean, excuse the pun, but the butt of jokes, wasn't it? You know, at the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was like, oh God, but I was, you know, so in love with with this guy
Yeah.
that I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to be prepared to do that, and I need to be honest with who I am and stuff like that. And if they don't accept me, then they don't accept me. Thankfully, everyone accepted me. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, and I'm living, you know, I'm living my life. So yeah,
That's good. That's amazing, and it's like it's actually. I want to say that it's a beautiful outcome.
yeah,
Like you said, the build up. You know, you're like, oh my god, what's going on? And then it's almost, I guess, even like where do you draw the line? Because I think it's one of those things where, as you were saying, that you know, it's like I guess the sort of like the joke of the times, or you know, and you're like, oh, like is this what people actually like think?
yeah,
Or is it just because, you know, like, oh, someone's saying something because it's just like, oh, it's funny. Like everyone goes like, ha, 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 yeah, that's, you know, hilarious. But then it's hard, I guess, again, when you actually have to uh, say again, like, for example, like if someone makes a joke about someone being gay and then you actually like being a gay person,
yeah,
you're kind of like, whoa, okay, like it's, I want to say like scary Because you're
It
like,
is, yeah.
are you saying this as a joke just because you know it's funny, or like you think it's funny, or are you saying this because you actually believe the things that you know?
Yeah, and obviously, the world has moved on a little bit,
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully.
which is good. Well, hopefully, yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it's just like a case of you don't know. I guess you don't know what people are thinking, like in their heads. If in your friendship group, if you're, making these jokes or whatever, there could be someone there that could be, closeted or whatever. So yeah, it's yeah.
And then you've got the again, you obviously you start doing comedy now,
Yeah.
and
Questionable, but yes, yeah, yeah. I talk to people from a stage, so yeah, yeah. Some people might not call it comedy, Levy, but
well, speaking on the microphone,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
usually elevated from
That's
other
it. Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It depends on where you're doing comedy. To be honest, I think I've done once on the top of a crate of beer. So I've been all sorts of. I don't, because you think, oh yeah, you're doing comedy. It's like you're talking on a mic on a stage. I have talked on a mic without a stage. I talked without a mic
Yeah.
to a crowd of people.
I mean, crowd of people's good as well.
Yeah, I
so-
guess that's yeah.
I mean, just like last Thursday, I gigged in the arse end of nowhere in Sussex to 8 people who were, I think, most of them, or if not all of them, were over the age of 65, and 2 dogs as well, who decided to have a fight in the middle of my set.
No way.
I can't compete with that. I can't compete with. I mean, I ended up doing commentary on what the dogs were doing.
Yeah.
So that was last Thursday, and then the day after, Friday, I gigged to a full room of 90 people. So it's like this is what happens.
goes
It's
in
ups
curves,
and
yeah.
downs, yeah. So yeah,
Yeah. So you were commentating on dog fights.
yes.
On
It
Thursday.
wasn't. It was. Yeah. I mean, don't make it sound like that. I'll be arrested by the RSPCA or whatever. It's not.
Okay,
It
now
wasn't a
got-
planned dog fight. They just started
Have we got
fighting
the
in the park.
chickens coming in?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and yeah, no, I'm also available for bullfights and yeah, any other animal cruelty commentary.
I would love to hear you commenting on those like bull races in Spain.
Yes, that's what I meant. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I would love to hear your, because you're like you're again you're with your voice and like your sort of like persona.
Yeah.
I would love for you, because it sounds like even the most exciting it'd be something like, oh, he's got him. And that's and that's the end of the
And
race.
there's a man who's very injured on the floor.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't think
Okay.
that was supposed to work out like that.
Like, this is scary.
Yes,
This is very scary.
Yeah.
But now, so we are one of the things I wanted to ask you is that you're doing comedy now while again you're in a relationship which obviously has like lots of downs, and it sounds quite tough. But then how do you manage to actually like focus on doing comedy? Or like, did you actually see the time when you were doing comedy as perhaps an outlet from everything else that's happening in your life?
I think, yeah, I think I think throughout my life I've always had like an additional focus.
Right.
You know what I
right.
mean? Like,
Yes.
because we go to work every day or whatever, we do our work, but yeah, no, I needed something else, something to, that wasn't work or wasn't, whatever it'll be, to focus on, and that, get sink my teeth into, and yeah, be not obsessed with, but be very, I suppose I'm a bit obsessed with it, but yeah, to do. So yeah, comedy's given me that.
I mean, I was going because that sounds like the reason why I ask is just because I feel like many people would have probably used that as an excuse to put things on hold. Because people, I think again, I talk from even experiences that I had in the past, or I've heard from other people, or I've seen where, if say again something, if you're going through something, you can be like, hey, this is not the right time to do, to explore this. I'm just gonna put it on hold. But yet instead you were like, no, let's do this. Let's keep on.
Yeah, I guess I yeah. I mean, what was it? So so yeah, 2019 when I started, and I was probably I was just I was getting together with my ex and everything like that, and yeah, I mean, but then we moved in together towards the end of that year. So yeah, we'd already been together for a little bit, but yeah, um, so yeah, I guess it's it's fine. And then I had a bringer because obviously you start off
Yeah.
doing so bringer gigs is like when you start off you need to bring someone with you. I mean, he soon got very fed up with that, like having to turn up to all my gigs, which is understandable to be fair. But yeah, so yeah, I guess you know, it was just something else to focus on, really. Yeah.
And you've because you sometimes you and I know again we'll talk about the show that you've got coming up, but I've heard like you tell stories about like your again like whatever's happening to you or like what's happened to you.
Yeah.
Have you done that from the beginning? Or what were you? I guess my question now would have been like, what was it that you started talking about when you started doing stand up? As far as you remember, you don't have to be very, like, oh, that's my first joke precisely.
Yeah, I mean, I probably have always worked along the same sort of theme of my persona, which is this kind of straight acting, guy that's come from like a lad culture, sort of life, but actually, I like fucking men. And so I've always sort of gone along that theme, that
which I think is the laddest thing. If I'm being honest, I think it's like the laddest thing to do.
But fuck men, yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's very laddie. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think they're doing it so much at Millwall Football Club, to be honest. But I don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe I'm missing out.
Sometimes it feels like they're doing it to their own fans, right? So no, but that's okay, cool. I got it. So and what was your influences? I guess like when you first started, like what is that first drew you into comedy? Even like as you're talking about how your like school teachers were like, hi, he seems to be like he's got like funny bones or whatever the saying is. But then what was your influence, or like how did you get into like, oh, I want to be a funny man, I want to be a funny person?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know. Like I say, I was always quite sort of shy, but I tell you what, I once did a training course at work, and the guy who was taking the course said to me, he said you come out with a lot of funny quips, but also you don't add any value. So yeah, that's what I kind of did. Nothing of actual interest. I'm maybe I'm sitting in a training course, trying to think of something funny to say rather than what I should be doing, which is taking in what I'm being taught. But yeah, I mean, it's sorry, what was the question?
I was going to, sorry, before I will ask you the question again, but I want to say this is a very good poster quote.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Like you bring funny quips, but you have no value. You have no value.
Nothing of value to say. Yeah, exactly.
No, my question was like, what was your like first influences, or like what was, I guess, either people or even like programs or things that you saw and you're like, oh my god, that's what I want to do, or was it actually you didn't have any? You were just like, hey, I like cracking up jokes.
No, I did watch sort of comedy on TV and things like that. My parents would always. My dad was a big comedy fan, so he, I watched like Have I Got News for You and things like that from like a really young age. I had no idea really what was going on, but I was watching it. I was taking it in, like Paul Merton and things like that. Very, very quick off the mark and saying funny things. Peter Kay was a massive influence to me. Absolutely loved watching his DVDs. Even like my dad used to like Billy Connolly as well.
Yeah,
I was watching some of those things. So I think it was always kind of around me. like the interest in comedy and watching those sorts of people.
Was your mom as well like a comedy fan, or was she more, I guess, conservative in that respect?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if she was so much a comedy fan. Yeah, I think it was always my dad's like really sort of cracking the jokes. I mean, my mum's funny. Like, everyone has sort of something funny about them, don't they? And I
Yeah.
don't mean that in a rude way, but I mean like everyone has
Yeah.
a sense of humor, and I've done like I've done some courses with Logan Murray, who
Yeah.
is like the comedy guru. Absolutely, um, taught the likes of Greg Davies and Rod Gilbert, and really sort of
No way.
big comedians. Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
And he's but one of his things is like he's like everyone has the ability. Everyone has a sense of humor. Everyone finds things funny. So there's everyone can do
Yeah.
do comedy to an extent. It's just finding that funny from within you, and yeah, and just unleashing your inner idiot, as it were, and your that sort of thing. But yeah, no. So he's Logan's absolutely great, and has had a real sort of from doing his courses has had a real sort of impact on me. So I feel like I've promoted Kew Gardens. I've promoted the West London Queer Project, Logan Murray.
No,
None of these people are paying me for these promotions, but
not yet. Not,
not
yet.
yet. They should
yet.
be. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That sounds beautiful. I think I think I've this is the thing though, like I've not done, it's almost um sorry, actually no, yeah, I'll say this and then I'll ask you the question. But I was going to say that I think even when I started doing comedy, I was kind of like, I'm just going to start writing down stuff and see how it goes, and maybe like read some books or like do some tutorials. But I was always scared that if I were to actually, like, even now, I feel like if I do a course, I'm like, if I quit comedy, I've wasted that money.
Yeah.
Like all I think about, because I remember at the beginning, people were like, just do a course. Like also, it was like during lockdown where like, I think people went past like, oh, baking banana bread. And now it's like just online courses were the next, best thing. And everyone was like, just jump on a course, just do a course. And I was like, I'm not spending any money on something that I don't know if it's going to work.
So you never did a course at all?
No.
I take my hat off to people who haven't done a course, because I wouldn't have the confidence to do it without a course. So a lot of confidence there, I feel.
Yeah, but I feel like, sometimes when we're talking about like, even when I've listened to your stuff, you almost see, like I've seen things like when I first met you like 2 years ago, I think, when I first came to London.
Yeah.
And you've already had that, like, obviously there. Like it sounds like it's kind of like you. Again, I feel like people who do courses, they sound a bit. Again, I think it's good to have that jump, like that jump ahead, because if anything, like now, I kind of feel like at times, I should have done it, or like that's why now I'm considering doing some things, because I can almost see how that helps the people who do it. I can almost see how, there are like things which I know that I'm missing, and it took me, say, an additional year to like figure out by myself why something works, or like why something doesn't work, or like how do I link, two things together. It's very hard without like being to like give you, say, the exact joke, or like the exact theories that I have in my head. But yeah, that's pretty much how I think about it, when it's kind of like, okay, you've done the course, it's almost like you've got the rules. While with me, it's almost like, you get like one of those IKEA pieces of furniture from like a charity shop without the instructions, and they're like, okay, you're just gonna build it. Eventually you'll hope like build it, but it's gonna take you way longer, and you're gonna be a lot more stressed.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is the wonderful thing I think about comedy, is that everyone has their own different approaches.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own ways of writing. Everyone has their own ways of formulating jokes. Everyone has their own ways of performing. There's so much you can do, and it's for anyone really. So yeah, it's.
Oh, and sorry, just to put it out there, I didn't mean that your writing, the reason why your like thoughts are so much clearer and the jokes are much clearer would only be because of the comedy course. By the way, just to
No.
be
Fair
very
enough.
fair,
No.
like it's just that again, like at the time when you hear someone, you're like, oh, okay, they done a course, and you're like, okay, I get it.
Right. Okay.
Like no,
It's almost like you can identify them, is it? It's like, yeah, you've done a course.
yeah, perhaps, or like sometimes, like I got to speak with Joe Bohr, I think, and we were talking about how Radu, who's again is a big comedian,
Yeah.
and it turns out I think Radu did Joe's course when he first came to England. Although Radu was a comedian in Romania and stuff like this, and then you're like, okay, cool, like now I can, I get the value, like I understand a bit more, and I feel like again I still can't justify, which sounds quite probably horrible, for the fact that I want to have this as a career in the future, but I can't justify spending the money. I always think like that, unfortunately. I'm like, if I quit, I just wasted this. Although I buy a train ticket to gig like 3 hours outside of London in front of, the same like 6 people and 2 dogs instead of 8.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, I can justify that 80 quid, but I can't justify the, 200 pounds that were actually going to be very beneficial.
Yeah, but I mean, who knows? At the end of the day, it's we're all carving out our own sort of route and our own journey and things like that. So
Yeah, that's true.
and maybe from not doing a course, that might end up being beneficial. And in a few years' time, when you're absolutely flying high and on Live at the Apollo, and I'm still gigging to 8 people and 2 dogs, then you'll be like, thank God I never did a course. Who knows what's going to happen? Yeah.
Oh my God! Actually, I can imagine the RSPCA reaching out after going like, where were those 8 people and the dogs with like more information? Just like having your like timeline, you get those Instagram notifications like so and so liked your post with like my next week's gigs. When like people do quizzes, for example, and they're like, oh, I'm doing a quiz, like I'm hosting a quiz here, and I'm hosting, and then you'll just have dogfight comedy show.
Yeah. You're painting me. I love animals.
No. Again, no, absolutely no. This is not how I'm.
No,
Yeah, Matt is actually. I can vouch for Matt. He's very loving and caring to animals. He's been absolutely wonderful with Sarma and Pickle before we started recording, and they were like wandering around. So please, everyone listening, don't worry. If anything, I had a gambling problem. The only reason why I bring this up is because I miss gambling on dogs, not fighting, but running. Actually, was dog running. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I don't think Sama and Pickle are going to fight, so I think they're going to behave themselves, aren't they?
It's weird because like you see, so the Pickle, the one that's like more like anxious, she seems more aggressive, but then it's actually the Sarma does the dominant one.
Right. Okay.
It's quite funny actually, but yeah, no, I don't. I think they started growling at each other and like hissing after they had the operation.
Right.
They got the I want to say the snip, but
Yeah.
they
were Siamese cats. They were stuck together, and no.
But then
They've been spayed. Yeah?
Spayed. That's it. So after they've been spayed, that's when, because I think they smell like the vet and they didn't like that about each other.
Right.
But then otherwise, no, they are pretty cool. They sleep together. They are very, very wonderful.
Yeah. No, they're cute.
But I was going to ask you, do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I've got like a half brother I don't speak to anymore. So yeah.
Oh, okay. But then what about like your? Did you tell your parents that you're doing stand up? Or like
yeah, massively. Yeah.
How long into doing stand up did you tell them?
Oh, I'm quite. I'm close. My father's passed away now, but I'm
really sorry about that.
No, that's fine. But
long ago?
No, 2020. So
way.
so 4.5 years.
Really sorry, man.
No, that's all right. No, that's
Were you too close?
yeah, very. Yeah, no, that's yeah.
Did he get to see you do stand up?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
Nice.
Yeah, which is really, and he's very sort of proud of me for, even after he see me do comedy, which is surprising. But yeah, no, that yeah, my parents have both seen me do comedy.
Nice.
And yeah, so yeah, even though I'm talking about fucking men and things like that,
What do you like? I guess like this is actually another question I want to ask you. Like, how nervous were you, given the fact that I guess again you only came out to them? Did you come out around the same time then, like 9 years ago, 10 years ago?
yeah, yeah,
So then, given the fact that again that was technically like still fresh, because again we're talking about things that happened 10 years ago.
yeah.
Now hearing you doing stand, were you like nervous? Were you like really nervous? How nervous were you from 1 to 10?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't so
Oh.
nervous about them seeing it. I was, yeah, absolutely fine with it. Yeah, it was. Because I mean, obviously they got, say I came out, I think 9 years ago, and then
Yeah.
started comedy 6 years ago. So they had a good 3 years to get used
Nice.
to the idea. 2 or 3 years. So yeah, and then I go up on stage and talk about that sort of stuff. But yeah, I've got no problems with that. That's fine.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Because I think I'm a little bit jealous now. Because I feel like one of the things I wish I did was like to have my parents see me do stand up.
Yeah,
Because they didn't get to do that, and also I would have to learn English first. But I still think it would have been.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's
It's fine. It's not your fault.
No, but
You're not the doctor, and I'm.
No, I'm not. No, I mean
Yeah.
I would be a terrible doctor if anything. But yeah, that's,
But then what? So then did your what? How much I guess of your like sets did they see you like do longer sets, or was it like 5 minute spots?
yeah, my dad I think only saw me do like 5 minutes
Yeah,
because
'cause
it
he
was at
was
that stage. Yeah, because
near-
it was obviously like so he passed away in July 2020.
Damn, man.
And yeah, I mean I'd been doing comedy I did comedy from January 2019, I guess. Well, I did the 5 week course starting the first weekend of January in 2019, and then that's 5 weeks, and then after that started comedy. So it was like March really started booking gigs and all that sort of stuff.
No way.
But then so it was a year really, wasn't it? Because then March 2020 everything stopped. So yeah, I mean he got to see me a few times, yeah. And my mum, my mum's still around. That sounds awful. But my mum, but she's. I mean, last a couple of years ago, I did a pro gig at Grinstock Comedy Club, which is like there was. I mean, I say a pro gig. What I mean by that, it was professional comedians and me.
And me.
Yeah. But like it was headlined by Esther Manito, which is obviously
Oh, wow.
yeah, so she's really good. But so my mum came and see me do that. I did 15 minutes there. So yeah, so she see me
Very
do
good.
15 minutes. Yeah. And I speak about my mum sending me lavender pillow spray and and one of my bits, and she was sitting there with all my friends. She was like, "Yes, I did do that. I did do that."
Did she like, or did your either of your parents like give you any feedback based on your sets? Like, did they tell you after like, "Hey, I think I don't know, say like you were too harsh on me," or did they will go like, "Oh, actually, why are you saying this? Say this instead," or anything like that?
No, it's all been it's all was very supportive. Yeah, it was all, yeah.
That's amazing.
Saying, really good and things like that. It's just
What happened then when you even like started, like when you told them that, oh, I'm starting doing stand-up comedy and I'm started doing like these shows, what was their reaction?
Yeah, always supportive. Like I've got wonderful parents.
That's beautiful.
So it's like always supportive in what I do. So
and then what? Because then you live like in south of London.
I live in at the moment. West London.
Sorry, I meant as in like you are from, or like they live.
Oh, south of London. Yeah, so,
south of London.
South London. But yeah, I mean, since my because my parents divorced when I was 18. So it's like it was like a stay together for the kid, I think. But yeah,
No way.
So my mum, but I knew, like, I mean, I don't know, a fair few years ago, maybe 9 years ago, or whatever. My mum moved to Wales. So
Wales, yeah.
yeah, I think it was sooner than that. I think it was like 6 years ago. But anyway, so yeah, quite. My mum moved to Wales, and yeah, my dad also. My dad always lived in the same sort of area. He lived in Eastbourne in his last few years, so he yeah, so that's still Sussex, but it's by on the coastline. So yeah.
And then you were talking about how when you were like younger and like with your friends, you were very like watching like football at the pub and stuff like this. I'm actually curious, who was your team?
Oh, Chelsea.
No way.
Yeah.
How come?
Um, because of one of my friends in primary school.
Huh. Is it the same friend that you had the speech for?
No, it's not actually. But yeah, no, one of my friends at primary school supported Chelsea. And thankfully, I mean, it works out well because my mum's husband is a Chelsea fan.
Right.
So yeah, that's kind
Oh,
of,
you had something to bond over.
yeah, it kind of worked out well. But yeah, so yeah, no, Chelsea. But this is the thing, is the weird thing, because I've not fallen out of love with it. I just don't watch it
As
so
much?
much anymore. But I live so close to Chelsea as well. So
Yeah.
it's like I went up and watched more games when I was living in Sussex than I do now I'm living in London. But that's just, you know.
But also the prices are ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
to go and watch, especially like Premier League football, it's a bit silly. And then
Yeah, no,
I
it was
very much understand. I feel like since I moved in East London, I go and watch Leighton Orient when I go.
Okay.
Yeah, just because again it's like lower league. I prefer the lower league sort of like, you know, crowd, like the atmosphere, because I feel like in the it's too glam, you know.
Yeah.
And again, like also for the price difference and everything, while in the lower league you almost have that feeling of, yeah, this is football.
Yeah,
It's
you want to hear the
perfect.
players shouting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite funny that I think I don't know how familiar you are with Romanian National League, but we don't get many fans in the stadium now, unfortunately. So you can actually hear the players swearing at each other or like at the referees.
Yeah.
And it's the funniest because, you know, they have like a live broadcast. So sometimes you'll just hear the commentator going like, "Oh, we're really sorry about the words that you've just heard. We are on live television," you know, because they will just go like, "Fuck you" or like "fuck your mother" or whatever, and then the commentators will like, "We're really sorry. We're on live television and we could not, you know, like beep this out."
Wow. Okay. And what they're saying, that to like the referee?
Yeah, or again, either to each other, like you. Sometimes
Yeah.
you hear, I think. The coach was like, break his fucking legs, break his fucking legs, and then you just hear that on TV, and then the commentator again with like the most like serious and kind of like just a very like deadpan, you know, we're really sorry, we are on live television, we apologize for the things you heard.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It sounds like football players are lovely, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, not all football players.
no,
I
yeah,
don't know. Because that's the thing. You can never really hear them in a big like ground like Chelsea
Yeah.
or whatever, can you? But yeah, they probably are all shouting that
it's
at each
really
other to rile each other up, and you know,
that's what I
throw
heard.
each other off. Yeah, so.
Yeah, and I know because I follow like loads of yeah, like when I like follow the news, for example, and you see everyone is kind of like, oh, everyone's like too woke now, you know, like why can't players just like be racist to each other or, you know, just like say awful things at each other? And I'm like, because, you know, you get like, I think a couple of weeks ago, a player got booked because he, again, I know it's like allegedly used like a racial slur towards a player who's like of a different ethnicity.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, I think that is not necessarily woke. It's just like, just don't do it. You know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
just swear at them for something that has nothing, that like, you know, has nothing. Just swear at them because of the way they play.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I think that's okay as a person who loves conflict and loves watching conflict on national television. Just fight over something that's, you know, not necessarily, again, race, religion, sexuality. Just go like, hey, I don't think you're good footballer. You know, there are lots of things you can come up with.
Yeah, I know. That's yeah. I mean, it's probably good that I'm I'm not so much into football now.
So how did that happen? Is it because of because you were talking about like you get into stand up and obviously like that takes a huge part of our lives.
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
So is that why you kind of like dipped? I guess the football side of it, or like is that why you kind of like had to like reassess what you have time for and what you don't, or
No, I think it was just. I think it was just moving, and well, a lot of factors really. I mean, I have friends who are season ticket holders at Chelsea,
Very nice.
so whenever one of them couldn't go, I would go. Yeah, I'll go up, and and one of my friends used to work abroad quite a lot, so there'll be. I mean, I would go up like 5 games a season.
Nice.
For at the time I think it was so that was good, but obviously then my friends are grown up, they're having kids and things like that,
Yeah.
so it's kind of they stopped getting season
Fair.
tickets for Chelsea, and I guess and also just moving to London, I didn't really know many people. All of my sort of friends at the time when I first moved were my ex-boyfriend's friends. So that was kind of like,
Right.
and there's, it's getting a bit better, but there's not a lot of gay people don't like, or gay men don't like football. So that's kind of what who I'm sort of speaking to and making friends with, and at the time, and it just didn't really happen. I just changed direction.
A question then, because I'm and then this is going to be the we're approaching the end, I promise.
That's right.
But I just want to ask you, so then you didn't move to London for comedy, you moved to London because of like moving, or like as a choice of like with you and your partner at the time?
Yeah, I think it was a number of factors. Yeah, comedy was one.
Okay.
We're moving in with my partner, and just like I was just like, do you know what? I'm young enough to do it. I've got nothing really sort of tying me down. I can go off and do it. So that's what I did. But yeah, so that's kind of the reason for moving. Even when I was gigging and living in Sussex, I was driving up,
Right.
and when I would do like there's a lot of sort of these open mic bringer gigs and things like that with 15 to 20 acts on that finish at 10:30, 11 o'clock or whatever at night, and then I'm driving home through, if it's in North London, I'm driving through London to go home. I'm getting back at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, this is not sustainable on a Tuesday night or whatever it was. So it was kind of like, okay, let's move to London. And now I gig in London, but I gig outside of London as well now. So I don't know, it's kind of gone full circle, really. Like I say, Arse end of nowhere in Sussex to 8 people and 2 dogs. Yeah.
And what do you still manage to like? Do you have a car that you get like to drive, or do you use public transport?
No, I'm quite lucky in that I have a company car.
Very nice.
So yeah, I can kind of drive to gigs and things like that if I'm gigging outside of London. Or it helps. I'm lucky. I appreciate I'm lucky in that respect. People like get the train. Like Brighton's a great place to gig. I gig down in Brighton quite a bit, but I noticed like people getting the train, and I'm thinking, oh God, that's costing you, £20 or
as well as the time as well.
However much it is, like £20 on the train to get down there and all that. So yeah, I'm quite lucky in that respect.
That's good.
Yeah.
And now I wanted to ask you about the shows coming up.
Yeah, so I've got a show that I created this time last year, I guess. It's called Innuendo. It's So yeah, that's my show. It's my solo show. I did it last year. I did it at Brighton Fringe. That was like the first of doing it. So I did 6 shows at Brighton Fringe. Like I was there every weekend, which was admittedly too much, but I wanted to like go right. Let's really cut my teeth in doing this. And I mean that provided me with my best moment in comedy ever.
Which is
Just one of the
oh,
shows.
okay, right.
So
right.
it was like a full room. I mean, I wouldn't say I got a standing ovation. That's not true, but like I felt like a wall of applause afterwards, and I was just like, oh my god! And then the applause went on for ages, and I was like, oh my god! Oh, and then I got back in the car afterwards and nearly burst into tears. Like I was like, this is that's so far that's my best moment in comedy. That was on like one of the Saturday nights. I came back the next day for the Sunday, and it was the worst show of the run. So that's what comedy does to you. It's just like
nice wake up call.
4 people who really didn't want to be there, or gave me the impression they didn't want to be there. So, but yeah, it brings you back down. So, and then I did. After that, I did Lambeth. I did Camden. This year, I've done Leicester. Leicester Comedy Festival. But coming up, I'm back at Brighton. I'm just doing 2 dates at Brighton now, which is the 17th and 18th of May at the Caxton Arms. And then for anyone who's in London, I'm doing on the 10th of August, I'm doing the show at the Barons Court Theatre as part of the Camden Fringe. Barons Court is not in Camden, but it's each their own. It's fine. So that's what I've got lined up for my shows this year so far.
Very nice. And then because that's the one with the poster that I told you I really like.
Yeah, so it's me in a sailor's outfit, because obviously, so I've got a friend who's very talented photographer and does all my like the art and everything like that, and really got a good eye for it. Her name is Natalie Martins. Or Natalie Hussey, she is now, but she's NDC Photography, I think. If you're looking for a photographer or someone like that, but yeah, so I went and she agreed. I went round there and she agreed to do my photos, and I was like, make me look awful. Like I want to look, a lot of people, this is for comedy. I appreciate most of the time you're doing like headshots of people who want to look good and everything like that. I was like, I want to look awful. I want to look silly. I want to do it. Yeah. So that's what we came up with. I mean, I look a lot fatter than, I would like to say that I am now, but yeah, I do. But it works. It's good, and I like it. Yeah,
an amazing poster. It was amazing to see it, and when I saw it last year, I was like, this looks great. It's just very funny.
Like I say, it's not my work. It's just me,
and it's also because then does it actually have anything to do? And again, no spoilers for the show, but does it have anything to do with actually being a sailor?
No, I mean, because I'm not an actual sailor. But yeah, I mean that's come from the fact that in French, a matelot is a sailor. So yeah, that's my name's Matt Lowe's. So yeah.
And then, okay, last question. Before the second to last question, you were saying about how the second gig at after the best moment in comedy, which was a sold out show, then the week after there were some people, like 4 people in the room.
The day after.
The day after there were like 4 people in the room who just seemed like they didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
That was for the same show, right? That was like your solo show.
Yeah, that's
Is that
Brighton Show.
because they expected you to do an hour talking about sailing?
I hope not. um, I I hope not. I do explain. I do explain. You know, I do explain the show, and it has got like um, I mean, it's you know, it will have what's it called a thing in the program of
Yeah.
telling you about what it is, but. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I don't. I think it was just like, you know, sometimes you just get audience members who don't look like they're enjoying themselves. They might be. They might
Yeah.
be. There might be people like, I'm an internal laugher, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't really help me. But also, you know, if you're enjoying the show, you're enjoying the show, so that's fine. I'm still gonna, still gonna.
This
do
is
it.
hard though, isn't it? Because like I sometimes I do get this also like almost is like a fixation because you're doing your bit, and then although you're getting good feedback and you're getting laughter, you see someone who's not laughing, and then I almost like my focus for the entire the rest of the set is to get a laughter out of that one person, and then
Yeah.
based on that one person that I can see, although the lightning is usually like sometimes it's very bright and you can barely see anyone, but that's all you can see, or like all I can see, and I'm like, I need to get a laugh out of you. And then if I don't get it, I will feel like, oh, this was horrible. And then the funniest or like the weirdest thing is that usually after that, or during the break or like at the end, that person will come and be like, hey, loved your stuff. And I'm like, did you?
Yeah, but that's the weird thing, isn't it? Because that's not, you know, probably that's not the right way to do it. You should play
Yeah, I
the people
guess.
who are enjoying it. But it's so it's so natural to be
Yeah.
like, I want everyone to like me. It's like with your cats, right? Because like Pickle is very anxious, and
Yeah.
I was like, no, the other one already Sama already loves me. I want you to love me as well. And that's, you know, we want the challenge, don't we? Right?
Yeah,
So
sure.
yeah, I'm just your cats are the audience members, I guess, right now. I don't know where they are.
Yeah.
They've got bored. But yeah, so
They're running around. I was surprised actually to for them to come. So again, coming back to the people, the wonderful people at the RSPCA, as soon as Matt got in the flat, the cats came out very quickly, which is actually a sign that they love him already because they don't usually come out that quickly. So ignore everything that was said earlier.
I do. Yeah, I do have a way with animals. I do like I want to make every animal my friend. Really, I was just like, oh yeah,
That's
exactly.
nice. Did you grow up with pets?
Yeah, dogs. Yeah,
No way.
yeah. We always had border collies.
No way.
Yeah. So yeah,
That's so cute.
so I love dogs. Yeah, absolutely.
Matt, it's been such a pleasure talking to you. Now the last question is, where do people find your work? Where are you mostly active, social media wise? So any like, this is your time to give like, well, I was gonna say shout out your handle, but don't shout, just say it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I'm mostly active on Grinder. No, sorry.
The sailor.
Yeah, exactly. No, I am mostly active on Instagram. So my handle is matt.lows. That's matt.lows. And yeah, I mean, from there, I do like a gigs that I'm doing every month and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, if anyone wants to come along and watch me, preferably if you want to come along and watch me do my solo show, like I said, innuendo, then yeah, so that'll all be on there. So it'll be on the Instagram, but it will also be on the Brighton Fringe and Camden Fringe websites as well.
Sorry, the name is amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love the name so much. I love this like sort of like almost like silly play words, but it's actually quite like, it's strong, but it almost seems like I feel like the simplest things are actually the most complicated.
Do you know what? I thought of it like ages ago, and I was just like, I need to do a show before someone takes that name. So,
Also, is that, if you don't mind me asking, is innuendo also your like grinder?
That's my grinder name. No, I don't know. I wanted the name. So I went to see. Do you know the comedian Lily Phillips?
Yeah, I heard of
Not
her.
the Lily Phillips who's had sex with lots and lots of men. I can't.
Is that her name as well?
Yeah, there's a bit of a mix up there. Now I'm
Oh,
talking about
maybe
the
that's why I
comedian.
heard that
Yeah, no,
name. Sorry.
exactly. You've seen the videos. No, I'm talking about
It was actually in the other room, in the spare room. I'm joking.
it all happened here. Oh my god! I bet the cats were
Yeah.
beside themselves. But yeah, no. So Lily's a wonderful comedian, and did a show in Edinburgh called Smut, which was a really great show. And she explained that I'm going to be talking smutty things. I'm going to be talking, this, that, and the other. So if you've turned up to this show thinking that, it's going to be PG, it's not going to be PG. So that's kind of why, also another reason why I wanted to call it innuendo.
Interesting.
Because, it's going to be a little bit rude. It's going to, that's kind of my humor, I guess.
But you see, this is the thing though, because like I don't find it like when, for example, like people, and I had this recently where I had someone like review my set, and then they were like, "Oh, likable dark comedian." I'm like, I don't think I'm a dark comedian. Like, why do people think so? I feel like, because I don't. But it's the same with like with your. So the reason why I'm doing this, I'm mentioning this is because like also with like your comedy, I wouldn't say like I don't find it rude. Like I feel like it's again it's nothing rude or like it's not blue. If you ask me, I just feel like it's again it has a level of I guess maturity, like mature words or like things that like adults say.
Yeah.
But like I wouldn't go, oh my god, this has to be like a special sign almost that says be careful the language or like the um yeah, again,
it's not like a Romanian football match, is that?
yeah,
yeah, it doesn't need to be censored like that.
Yeah, like just like if you have children, they have to wear headphones.
Yeah, no, I mean, I still, there is some rude bits, and I don't want someone coming in not expecting that. If you're a group of nuns, then just be aware that it might be a little bit rude, a bit blue, and if you still want to come in, then fine, but also that's it.
It's at your own.
Yeah, exactly.
Your own
at your own risk. Yeah,
or risk.
yes.
Well, Matt, thank you so much. What a pleasure! It's been such a lovely chat.
It's been great. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Well, good luck with the shows, and we'll chat later. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thanks. Bye.
So, what do you think? Was it good? Was it what you hoped for? Was it better? As I was listening, as I was putting it together, I've remembered as well how I'm a huge fan of Matt's voice. I don't know why, but I like it a lot. And again, it got a lot of very good jokes, but there is one joke from him that I absolutely adore. I hope you have the opportunity for anyone living in London or anywhere where Matt's going to take his show. And yeah, the poster. What a great poster. Honestly, you should again. His social media is in the bio of this podcast, and I encourage you to go and check it out because it's great. And what else was I going to say? I think that's it from me. So again, thank you very much for listening. I can't remember what other shows I have besides of the Monday one this week. But since I had a look at the stats of the podcast, most of you are in the United States. Some people in the UK, not necessarily London though. So shout out to everyone listening from up north. Quite a few people from Manchester, which is nice because I grew up there. So it's nice. Yeah, I hope, I don't know, is it people that I know, people that I have no idea who's listening. I can't see that much into it, but yeah, thank you. Well, anyway, um, my point was that there are some shows I have this week. I just can't remember which ones. So just check out my um, Instagram to see the updates. And oh yeah, my website. I forgot to mention this to you guys. The my new website is up. So www.levilupu.com. Very minimal, but I'm quite proud of it. I made it on the lowest budget that you can think of. And it kind of shows, but again, the thing is, I do have a website that's back and it's not as expensive as the other one, the older one that I used to have, but it's yeah, it's mine, and I worked on it for a couple of days. It's up and running now, and yeah, check it out if you can. If not, don't worry. I know you might be super busy, and that's okay. But yeah, thank you, folks. Take care, and from me, Pickle and Sarma, stay skillful. Goodbye for now.